on the X, the show totally dedicated to the Western New York music scene. Presented by the Music Exchange in Hamburg. Get ready for a great hour of interviews, music, and tips from Western New York's leading musicians, with many other very special guests from around the country. And now, here's your host, Rich Rogan-Moser.
One of the greatest guitar solos I've ever heard in my life.
I love that solo.
I love that solo. Welcome down, folks, to the East Coast Premier Music Talk Show. My name is Rich Rogan-Moser. You're listening to Heard on the X. As always, my sidekick, Joshua.
How are you today, Rich?
I'm good. I'm really good. That is one of my favorite guitar solos. I think it's very emotional, I just love it.
Yeah, and it's almost perfect for the song. Like, some solos are just perfect for the song, and that's one that just... it captures everything.
I agree with you. This week's show, we've got a great show ahead for you. We've covered a lot about the music industry. We've covered, obviously national artists. We've covered local artists. We've even covered younger artists that are, just getting started.
Up and coming and starting.
This week, we're going to dedicate the show to that middle rung of artists that are, the guys that are in the vans, that are, driving city to city, trying to make things happen. We had Val Hell on. She was opening for Ted Nugent. She covered it a little bit, but there's that. They're not the local guys that are playing covers in bars, and they're not the guys that are being limoed around everywhere. They're the guys that are on their journey trying to get there. We're also going to have Jay Medinsky from Regal Tip with us, who Regal Tip's a big sponsor of the Heard on the X radio show. Mm-hmm. And he's going to tell us what Regal Tip has new in store. We've seen Jay at the NAMM show, and we talked to him a little bit there. He was busy. We're going to see how the NAMM show worked out for him and see what NAMM does for Regal Tip. Talk about new product lines and just some road stories from Jay, because Jay was at that point at one time too.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool things going on.
And you mentioned those people and those artists that are the ones that are out in vans every weekend or, all week traveling. And those are the people that, they're in it because they love the music. It's not,
Yeah, they're not in it for the money, and they're not in it for the really great accommodations.
Yeah.
At all.
They're in it because for the love of the music. And you get some really great stories from traveling around in, a van with your bandmates. So it'll be very interesting to hear some of these stories.
And really, that tells the tale of the band.
Yeah.
I mean, if the band is going to make it or not make it, they're going to make it at that point.
Yeah.
As a band, as a unit, and be able to, travel through and see things to the end.
Yeah.
Even like bands like Anvil. There's some bands like Anvil that had a decent amount of success at a certain period of time and then went back to the van. So
it's actually funny that you say back to the van. The Dave Matthews Band, they did that whole thing, and still to this day, whenever they want to have a band meeting or whatever, they grab each other and they say back to the van, and they all, that's it, they just meet.
A term.
Yeah, it's a term for that meeting.
I mean, it's a real bonding time for bands, and like I say, that's when they're going to make it. Yesterday, speaking of bands that are traveling around in trucks,
yeah.
I caught the Headers and their friends, a Canadian band.
Mm-hmm.
For the life of me, I can't remember the Canadian band's name. But this Canadian band travels around in trucks. Mm-hmm. But they were at Pearl Street yesterday.
Yeah, you and I went down there. I was able to catch the Headers. I was not able to stay for the second band, but as always, the Headers were great.
Oh, if you're a fan of music, I mean, even if you're not a fan of rockabilly, Bobby LaBelle is a smoking guitar player. He's a Gretsch endorser, and he's just amazing. Local guy. The Headers don't play a lot of local shows because they have a real avant-garde style of music, and they play all originals. Mm-hmm. So there's very few venues locally where you can see them. But when you can see them locally, go see them. And Scott Freelick, Bobby LaBelle, they're just incredible. It's an incredible band. It was great to see them last night. Did you see about Jesse Ventura?
About the TSA?
TSA, Jesse's suing the TSA.
Yeah.
We've been talking to Jesse's people. We're going to try to get Jesse on the show in the next couple weeks. We did our TSA story last week where I talked about...
You went on your rant for 17 minutes about TSA.
Jay travels a lot. We're going to ask Jay a TSA story and see what if he has anything to say about it. But Jesse Ventura is suing the TSA. He feels that he doesn't want to be groped and prodded to get on a plane anymore.
The man that rolled around in a ring with other men in just his underwear doesn't want to be groped and prodded.
Yeah. It's America. You can decide when you want to be groped and prodded.
Well, that's good for him.
I want to remind everybody, too, I want to talk about one thing. It's a serious thing. Speaking of musicians, there's a 14-year-old musician out there that needs everyone's help. Mason Gechell is a young musician. He's taken lessons at the Music Exchange for a while. He performed for us last year at the Powder Keg Rally. Right about this time, maybe about a week from now. A year ago.
Mason's a great young musician, and he's a great kid. I got a chance to get to know him. He played in a band with my younger brother, actually. They actually did that gig at the Powder Keg Festival together. But Mason's a great kid, and so we really want everyone to support the benefit.
Yeah, they're having a benefit. Mason had some health problems, and the medical bills are mounting up. So the benefit is going to be Saturday, March 5th at the Lake Erie Italian Club on South Park, 3200 South Park Avenue. Mick Hayes will be there. The Rich and Famous Band will be there. Tickets are going to be available at the Music Exchange, and all musicians should get out there and support this young man. He's an aspiring young musician. He's a good guitar player and a really good kid, and he's going to need some help. He needs some help to pay some bills. So we'll be there, and we'll keep reminding you of that, okay?